Jazz 91.7, KRTU. That's the music of trumpeter Pete Rodriguez from a new release called Caminando con Papi. It's Still Searching, the name of the tune. We heard Clifford Brown before that. I thought we'd start off the hour with Clifford Brown because Pete Rodriguez is a trumpeter, and I guess Clifford Brown was the first trumpeter that came to my mind.
You know what? That is spooky, man.
Why is that?
Because Clifford Brown is one of the first cats I started listening to, and he's the cat that I would try to figure out his articulation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny because we didn't even talk about it before you played him.
No.
Wow, this guy's playing Clifford, bro. Clifford was no joke. And I also heard that he was just a beautiful human being, man.
Mm-hmm.
Great family, man. And that to me is even more important than the music.
No doubt, right? Just the way that he would get along with other musicians and be tolerant of so many things that were happening then. But yeah, I thought of him, I guess, because of that lyricism, that I hear, just the fact that he had this great quality of notes and how he would put them together and tell his story with that. And a lot of that bright sort of articulation that I hear on your record too. So Clifford Brown, there you go.
Great ears. Yeah, I think I have a tape somewhere of him practicing. He's blowing over Cherokee, and and that's how I practice. I spend some time, so Freddie Hubbard used to do that too, I heard, and probably pretty much everyone, but that you would just pick a tune that that you want to work on, and you just blow over it for 20 minutes, just by yourself. And there's a audio tape of him doing that, and his wife comes in and so he's like, "Honey, do you want something to drink?" And it's kind of cool that
right.
So I do follow a lot of that from the tape that I have.
Very cool. Pete Rodriguez, in case you just joined us, is our guest live here in the studio, and he's a trumpeter, band leader, and quite a composer too, with all original pieces on this new release that we're hearing, Caminando con Papi, which was just released, and the concert's tomorrow night. It'll be taking place at Carmen's de la Calle, and looks like one of the last shows there at that particular location, I think.
Yes.
And you're
8:30.
gonna bring a sextet with you.
I am going to bring a quintet.
Okay.
I'm going to bring drummer Daniel Dufour from Houston, Texas, now living in Austin. Sam Pankey from Memphis, Tennessee. He's living in Austin now. And bass, Carmelo Torres, congas. And on keyboards from San Antonio, Chris Villanueva.
All right, what time do you start?
8:30.
8:30, and that'll be Pete Rodriguez's band. You've when was you were just here? I guess about 6 months ago, was it? Or?
At Carmen's, yeah. I love that place.
Yeah, it's
Paul
a really
is a beautiful person.
Yeah, it's a perfect place to just sit down and listen to some music, or get some dinner first, and great drinks too. And I know just the whole vibe, the whole ambiance is.
Yeah, all of us, everybody in Austin, raves about Paula's place and how great it is to play acoustically there. That people are actually listening. It reminds me of a jazz club in New York City where people are actually paying attention.
Well, I know you've spent some time in New York City. I know also you've been a resident of Austin, Texas, for a number of years, and going back and forth, I guess.
Yes, but I love Austin. Right now, I'm living in Round Rock, but Austin is. It's a great city, though. A friend of mine, I was talking to him. He lives in Orlando, and he was talking about The Alchemist, and then how this record, and he was saying, man, Austin is good for you because you can stay in shape. And I told him, you're absolutely right. I get to perform and play my horn every week. I host a jam session at this place called the Brass House. That's been so wonderful to me.
It's a fairly new place too, right?
Yeah, they opened up late February, and I've been hosting the jam since April. And then I'd have a happy hour every Saturday. From 6:30 to 8:30, which I won't be there this Saturday because I'll be at Carmen's. But I get to have the horn on my face and stay in shape because it's good to have practice chops, but the way my body works, my brain works, I need practice chops, but I also need my gig chops to be in shape. So Austin, to me, has been the perfect city for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that there's quite a bit of history in this music, and it's packed into this new release. And the story goes back to your father,
yes,
El Conde Rodriguez, and I know that it was the Fania All Stars too. I just learned this actually, that you were the godson of Johnny Pacheco.
Yeah, it's my padrino.
He was the founder of the Fania record label, and the beginnings of salsa as we know it, I guess coming out of the 50s, was your father.
Yeah, more closer to the 70s, the Fania.
Okay. And he came back, though, I guess, with the Fania All-Stars. And I know that he was a percussionist and band leader and Grammy winning, too. I guess he's taken home some Grammys for some of those records. Or
my pop, no, he never won a Grammy.
Okay. Nominated, though, at least.
Yeah, nominations. Great conga player, bongo player. You know, he didn't start singing until later. You know, but the main thing, and I always tell people this, you know, because a lot of people come up to me, it's like, oh, you're the son of Peter Conde, man, what an amazing singer. And I was like, you know what? He was a million times better. He was an amazing human being. Let me put it that way. That to me was more impressive than his singing. You know, he treated everybody equal with a lot of love, no matter if it was a lawyer or somebody, you know, a homeless person that's just having a rough time, you know, with life. You know, he just sit down and talk to him. Hey, how you doing? And, you know, and I've adopted that, you know. In Austin, Texas, I'm at a light, you know. I always try to, you know, donate money and I'll ask them, hey, how are you feeling? You know, if it's so hot here, I'll be like, make sure you drink water, you know, because you have some of them like money for beer. I'm like, okay, man, but
don't dehydrate yourself.
Take some water, you know. So, and my wife is like, okay, the light's green, let's go.
Well, yeah, it is about that. It's about communication and conversation and being able to relate to people, you know, on the bandstand as well as off the bandstand. And yeah, I understand that your father was certainly at the top of that game in terms of, you know, just being able to connect with people personally and musically. And he was a vocalist too, and you're a vocalist as well as a trumpet player. I know you sing on a couple tracks on this new release.
Yes, I do for the first time. You know, a lot of people in Austin only know me as a trumpet player, but, you know, when I got out of the Army, I was Eddie Palmieri's lead singer for maybe about a year.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
So a lot in Austin, people don't know that.
That's quite a gig.
Dude, that was ridiculous, man. You know, like the story behind that, I'll take 2 minutes to tell the story because a lot of people thought that I had been singing for a long time, and I was about 22, 23. And the first gig I ever did was in Venezuela, in this place called, I think, Teresa Carreño. It's kind of like Carnegie Hall. So when I get the gig, this timbalero from Eddie Palmieri's band, Jose Clauset, says, here's the tape. You know, that's how old it is. You know, no CD, you know, MP3s. Here's the tape. You got to learn about, I don't know, 15 tunes. I'm like, okay. And I said, hey, Eddie, can we do a rehearsal in New York before we head out to Venezuela? He's like, oh, yeah, we're going to do the rehearsal. No rehearsal ever happened in New York. So hey, I'm getting nervous. At the same time, I was a full-time student at Rutgers University. You know, so I'm doing homework and trying to learn these tunes while walking to class. And I said, Eddie, can we rehearse in Venezuela when we get there? And he's like, yeah, we'll rehearse at the hotel. I'm like, cool, at least I can get one rehearsal. No rehearsal at the hotel. I'm starting to sweat, you know, because the band was heavyweights, man. It's like David Sanchez on tenor, Brian Lynch on trumpet, Charlie Sepulveda, Conrad Irving, Jimmy Bosch, Richie Flores, Johnny Torres on bajo.
An all-star band.
Dude, it was like on steroids. You know what I'm saying? Like the dream team.
Right.
You know, and I was the, you know, the one with the least amount of experience singing. So
leading the band.
Leading, dude. Yeah. So, and then, you know, I wasn't, you know, only Pete Rodriguez. I'm the son of Pete Rodriguez. And they were promoting it like if I had all this experience I've heard from people from Venezuela. I was like, yeah. So I said, can we just do a rehearsal at the sound check of a whole bunch of tunes? Yeah. Man, the sound check was a tune that wasn't even on the tape.
Had a whole new tune for you to cover.
I was so nervous.
Wow.
Man.
What year was that?
That was like 1992. Man.
Okay.
Yeah, like what, 22 years ago, bro. Basically.
And also, I wanted to mention too. You know, I guess there was a resurgence, I guess you could say, in your career as a musician in around 2005 because you started performing with Bebo Valdez.
Yeah, and, right before I moved here to Austin.
Okay, yeah, and we played some Bebo last hour. I know he passed away a few months back in his 90s. He was like 94 or something, or
something like that. But you know, when I went on tour with him back then, his dexterity was like sick.
Really?
Like if you close, my wife, she came on tour with me, and if you close your eyes, you think that cat was like 20 years old.
Wow.
Like clean, like not fumbling.
Right.
And he has like the same speed. Like Chucho was in town recently. He was at UT. And I put Bebo right there with Chucho, man. Those guys are going to battle. You know?
Is his hands as big as Chucho?
Yeah, Bebo was tall, right, baby? Like 6 feet.
Wow.
Or even taller. Yeah, tall cats, man. Chucho's tall too.
Yeah, because I mean, Bebo Valdez. For those of you who are new to hearing some of this music, as far as the Cuban merging into jazz and the Cuban sounds, Bebo's the father, really. I mean, of that. Yeah. When we talk about Afro-Cuban jazz.
Yeah. I'll tell you a story how I got that gig. It was crazy. We were about to move here to Austin, and I call a great friend of mine that plays trombone. You might have his CDs here, Luis Bonilla.
Oh yeah, got some.
And then Luisito, he plays with the Village Vanguard, and I said, Luisito, can you get me on the list to go hear the Vanguard? Because before I was gonna leave New York, I wanted to hear some great music. He said, of course. He said, by the way, you want to play with Bebo? So I'm thinking, I'm a prankster. He's a prankster. I'm thinking this guy's pulling my chest. Like, all right, bro, stop playing around. I'm thinking people that are gonna play with Bebo, the big names, like maybe Arturo, Claudio Roditi, Nicholas Payton, Brian Lynch,
sure,
guys like that,
Arturo Sandoval,
Terrence, well, Pete Rodriguez. He's like, yeah, he has a big man. I'm like, do you want the gig? I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. So we went all around Spain, and it was great. He did all the bus rides with us. It's not like he was on a plane and
right.
He
showing
was just
up at the last minute.
No, dude, he was there at the sound check. He was at the rehearsals there. The whole thing. He didn't act like a rock star.
Right.
He was still one of us.
That's
still
beautiful.
trying to grow.
Still
searching.
Knowing that the search never ends, right?
Oh yeah, no joke.
And that's the title of one of the tunes on your new release. Still searching.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Pete Rodriguez, in case you just joined us, it's Jazz 91.7, and we're listening to music from Caminando con Papi, and speaking with Pete Rodriguez about the new CD. And Pete and the band, the quintet, will be at Carmen's tomorrow night. Let's hear something off this new release. I want you to play something solo for us, too, in the studio coming up, because
beautiful.
I've actually, I know that you rehearse quite a bit. You're all over the horn, and I know that you're also an educator in the music. Do you have a team of students that you teach right now?
I have some students in the house that come to the house, and then I also teach at Texas State. I teach the Latin Music Studies department with John Lopez and Dr. Ludin Pedrosa, and a wonderful Mexican singer that she lives here in town. Her name is Michelle Quintero.
Okay. I don't think I've ever heard her.
She coaches like the baddest cats in town. You remember that? I forget his name. The little kid that sang the anthem at the Spurs game.
Oh, yeah.
She coaches that kid.
Okay.
I don't remember his name.
I don't either.
You know who I'm talking about, right? Remember that whole incident. So she coaches that little kid.
Okay.
So she's like one of the best in the business here in San Antonio with the whole Mexican style of singing, I guess mariachi. I'm pretty naive with that style of music. That's another world, man.
Yeah.
But those cats are no joke when they sing. Woo!
Oh, I know. They love the harmonies of mariachi
but
music.
The power, dude.
Yeah, that too.
When they sing their anthem, that's like no joke.
Complete with bajo sexto. All right. Well, let's hear a track off this. The first track, I know you said this is the only one you didn't write, but you actually wanted to play
I didn't
this.
Write.
Okay, that's right. And we got to mention too that Luis Perdomo's on this CD.
It's my right hand man.
And
I love that guy.
He's a monster on the piano, huh?
Yeah. You can write anything for him. I mean, I can, and he'll practice it and nail it. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's hear this tune, the Tombo. I guess this is
Tambo.
This is a Tombo written by Ruben Blades.
By Ruben Blades for my father, and my father sang it, and he tore it up. Let's hear it.
Does this feature you?
It features me vocally, trumpet solo, and also features the love of my life, my daughter.
All right, beautiful. All right, Tambo from Pete Rodriguez's new CD, Caminando con Papi on Jazz 91.7.
Abuelo Pete and Conde, I miss you very much. I never got to saw him. He lived in the sky. He's always with me. He's everywhere. God put some magic dust to be here, but you can't see him. He's everywhere, but you can't see him, just like God.
Tambo, en su réplica se encierra el misterio de la vida, de la muerte y la pasión. Tambo, sabroso ritmo hace brotar en la gente desde el alma la emoción.
I miss you, Abuelo P, and I love you very much.
Sabes expresar las penas, pues conoces el dolor. Tu vibrar causa alegría, si es alegre la ocasión. Tambor, expresión de sentimiento que la piel desde muy dentro, que interpreta el corazón. Tambor, siempre te pide la gente pa' decir lo que ella siente, pues tu idioma es el mejor. Sabes expresar las penas, pues conoces el dolor. Tu vibrar causa alegría, si es alegre la ocasión.
It's Arlene from Pete Rodriguez, Caminando con Papi, the new release. And Pete Rodriguez, our guest here in the studio, live with us here at KRTU. And that's a track off of that new record. And before that, we heard the track Tombo, a Ruben Blades tune, written for your father, I understand, Pete.
Yes.
And Ruben's, I guess, one of the great band leaders of all time in the music as well.
One of the best, great writer, too.
Yeah.
A great singer, obviously.
Yeah, and well, you sing on this record, and that's a talent that you share with your father as well as other talents.
Mm-hmm.
And your dad was one of the more important band leaders of all time in this music, in salsa music, and in Latin jazz. And
yeah, I mean, I consider my dad one of the best salsa singers in the world. You know, his tone quality was just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, self-taught.
Yeah.
And one thing I love about my dad is the tunes that he chose to sing. You know, the topics were pretty deep. You know, socio-economical issues. You know, about slavery. He has a tune called Babaila that's ridiculous that I'm gonna sing on my next record.
Okay.
Tambo is just great, talking about the drum. You know, Cabildo talking about Africa. You know.
And Cabildo, that's a tune on this. That's
record.
Another
vocal tune written by this guy named Tite Cure. May he rest in peace. I mean, one of the best composers out of Puerto Rico. The guy was, pretty serious.
Yeah. Well, in case you just joined us, the show's tomorrow night. You're performing at Carmen's.
Yes.
And it's going to be with a quintet with some members who were on this CD, Daniel DeFore and Sam Pankey. And I guess Luis Perdomo can't make it, but
no, he's actually somewhere in Europe with Miguel Senon. Right
yeah,
now.
oh, that's right. Yeah, you mentioned that. He's with Miguel. I guess Chris Villanueva will be the
Chris, and he sounds great. He's a great kid. Has so much talent. He sounds great, but I he's gonna be a beast.
All right. Well, there's so much to talk about. I know I wanted to talk about the title cut and play it, but I wanted to hear you play solo.
Mm-hmm.
But the title of the recording is Caminando con Papi. I guess that's about traveling with your father. Is it about?
I guess short travel. So
Okay.
like Papi lived and Mommy still lives in the same apartment in the Bronx, right across the street from the Bronx.
So you're born in the Bronx.
Born in Manhattan, raised in the Bronx. Then I moved to Puerto Rico when I was 9.
Got it.
So this tune came about, every time I go visit Papi, he would walk me to the elevator. He lived on the 10th floor at the time. And he would walk me to the elevator. And there was a lot of times where I was just struggling with work. I was a little bit depressed, like I wasn't getting work. I wasn't doing the things that I really wanted to do, or things that I thought I were going to achieve at a certain age weren't happening, And he would always walk me to the elevator and tell me, things are going to get better. Be positive, keep on practicing, be ready, stay in school. I believe in you. You sound great. I hear you getting better on your trumpet and your vocal skills and maraca. And he was always so positive. And sometimes I would get upset. I was like, Papi, but it's just not going to work. I should probably do something else. I don't think I'm good enough. And I don't know, maybe I should go to law school. I would just say crazy stuff because I was just stressed out. And he was always so positive and gave me these great hugs and kissed me and I say bendición and he would say Dios te bendiga, and I would leave, and I would always leave there happy. I'm like, you know what? And then I started thinking about his career because Papi wasn't the Pete El Conde at 20, like Iman Miranda or Héctor Lavoe or Willie Colon. Those cats
were young.
Right. Papi was still in the trenches. Papi was an 82nd Airborne at that age. Papi didn't make it big until his late 30s, early 40s. So I always think about his career, how he never gave up. So what I did was, I started thinking about all those walks to the elevator, right? And I was like, I got to write something about that because that means so much to me. And I started singing the melody, We papire tura tirararira tirararira booyarara. I started singing that. Then I sat at the piano and I started adding the harmony to it, because I think if you have a good melody, the harmony's gonna be there. And at first I couldn't think of anything, and I just started thinking about Papi and praying, And I'm more of an emotional writer, like everything I write, I think is through, God. God he brings it down to me. He's like, yo, this is what I want you to write. This is what I want you to play.
I think it goes back to what you were talking about earlier about being just a good person to people.
Yeah.
And being
I feed off people.
Emotionally involved in that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love people. Sometimes I talk too much. I'll get on the line at HEB to buy, whatever groceries, and by the end of the line, I know where that person lives, how many kids, they don't know if they have aches and pains, and I'll go, hey, why don't you try our acupuncture? Maybe you should start walking. Whatever.
Yeah.
Don't sit on the couch too long. Don't watch so many football games. Go for a walk.
That's right. Don't give up. Yeah.
Well, this is Texas, though. People do watch football.
Yeah.
I did watch my first football game this past year. Man.
Oh, yeah? You mean
the Super
live?
Bowl? In a friend's house, my daughter's.
So that's the first football game you've ever watched?
The first football game, bro.
That's pretty awesome, especially coming from
That's
the Bronx.
the Super Bowl game.
In Texas.
Forget the teams. What was that?
I forget, actually.
You too? So I don't feel bad. But, yo, that game was no joke, man. I was like, damn.
I do remember it being a great game. I just know that I was walking around downtown and going from bar to bar, and people were more excited than I was. I used to pay attention religiously to football. But,
really?
I haven't had a TV in like 12 years. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I love TV, man.
Yeah.
I'm a TV buff.
You don't strike me as a TV
No.
buff.
I love TV.
All right.
I love TV, man. I mean, because I like seeing how I love movies. I love seeing how they connect the music to the words.
Mm-hmm.
I love acting. I'm not good at it. I suck.
Maybe you should start writing some music for a film someday.
That would be great.
A film about your father. We'll make a documentary.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's do it.
We'll call it Caminando con Papi. Yeah. You have to help me with my Spanish, though.
Oh, that sounds good, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I fake it. That's just from living here, actually.
Yeah, San Antonio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to get to the music. Can you play for us something?
Yeah. Let me play. I'm gonna play the. What's that flashing light, dude?
Oh, that's the phone ringing.
Okay. So
can't answer it though.
I'm gonna play the ballad that I wrote on my record entitled "No Lo Quería Hacer." Let me just fix this mic.
So this is a piece that is actually track 5 on the new release, "No Lo Quería Hacer," which means
I didn't want to do it.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes. That's Pete Rodriguez performing the trumpet live in the studio here. And you know what's amazing is that's the bells pointed straight at me, but it was just so comfortable to sit here and listen to it. I mean, you must have like some incredible control, I guess, over the horn in terms of
I was very lucky to study with a lot of amazing trumpet teachers, I studied with a cat named William Vacchiano that played in the New York Philharmonic.
Well, you mentioned William Fielder, I guess, too.
William Fielder, to me, was the main cat because I studied with him the longest.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, he's helped produce the best jazz trumpet players in the world. I guess starting with the most famous one of all is Mr. Wynton Marsalis.
Yeah.
Terrence Blanchard, Sean Jones, Michael Philip Mosman. Another one of my favorites is Mr. Terrell Stafford. There's a couple of more that I can't remember. And then I got another cat man named Pete Rodriguez.
Huh. He's a pretty hip cat, man. He's got a great tone. As a matter of fact, he's right here in front of me. That was a beautiful thing. That's a tune that's actually heard on your new release, but there it is, heard for the first time, or at least for me, in solo performance. Mm-hmm. And it was really nice. It was a piece that you wrote.
It was actually a homework assignment for Mr. Kenny Barron when I was at Rutgers. He wanted us to write a ballad.
I just interviewed him here. He was just sitting right there.
Really?
Yeah, about 6 months back.
He's awesome. Isn't he awesome?
Yeah, he is great.
So he had us write it. He said, write a ballad. And I was upset. I was like, man, I don't want to write a ballad. I just want to write something fast.
Oh, right.
You're young. You just want to write something burning that you can't even play because it's too hard for you to blow. So, it took me a couple of weeks to write it, man. And at the whole time I was just complaining about it. I don't want to write a ballad.
Mm-hmm.
It's too hard, and ended up calling Papi, and I was like, Papi, I got to write a ballad. And, my dad's a great bolero singer. And I started listening to Pops, and he was telling me, listen to this. And eventually I was sitting in my room, and I started singing the melody. And most of the tunes that I write, they evolve from me singing the melodies.
Yeah, that's what you said earlier.
Yeah.
That's how important it is to have a great, when you can sing it and when you can add a harmony to it.
Yeah.
And it's a good melody.
Branford Marsalis told me, look, melody's the most important thing.
Uh-huh.
The harmony will be there,
Yeah. Well, you just mentioned Branford and Wynton, in the same discussion here. And we've been bringing you the music of the Marsalis family all week. We've been playing it on KRTU here for the Jazz Break because it was Father Ellis Marsalis' birthday yesterday. And, I think whether you like it or not, I would say off the record, but we're live on the air here, so that's not necessarily off the record. But I know that, for instance, Wynton especially, has gotten a lot of criticism over time, I think because of his sort of, sticking in the tradition. They talk about how he sort of, owns a certain segment of the jazz world, as a trumpet player and band leader, and many people I think kind of have a bad taste in their mouth because of that.
You call those people haters. I'm not buddies with Wynton. I talk occasionally with Branford, but every time I run into Wynton, when he would play, at the Village Vanguard, or I saw him at Princeton University, he was always very friendly. He's the type of cat you can hang out backstage with him, and you can play for him. He's cool.
Yeah.
Very positive cat. And, and I never, I wouldn't even go up to him and say, hey, I studied with William Fielder. I was just like, hey, my name is Pete Rodriguez. I'm a big fan of yours. Thank you for playing, and inspiring me, to be a better trumpet player. So, he does what he does, and what he does is awesome.
Yeah.
He's an amazing technician. He has to, for him to play like that daily, he has to practice a lot. His daily maintenance has to be at least an hour a day, I'm thinking. And he does.
Even, you mean?
For him to do, it's little clips that you see him warming up on YouTube. He has to put in the time. So he's great. He does what he does, and it's great. The only thing I can say, I wish he would put out like a small quartet record, like from back in the day.
Oh, I know, right? The Blues Alley Live and like that first
Black
record,
Codes.
Black Codes.
I need that. And the funny thing is, every time I talk to other cats, they're like, "When's Wynton gonna do that?" So if Wynton hears this,
well, that's
you need to do that.
On Monday, I played an hour of Wynton, and that's all I played with those.
That's what we all want to hear. Trumpet players. We want him to, do a quartet record and bring back Hurst, Dane Watts.
Yeah, of course he was like 23 then too, right? So
yeah.
All right, Pete Rodriguez, we're running out of time here, man. We're coming up on the Jazz Break at noon. I want to thank you for stopping by. I want to let everybody know, too, again, that the show is at Carmen's de la Calle tomorrow. Also, you will be on the air tomorrow with Barry Gettle. So if you just tuned in, Barry brings you all new music on his show, Evolve. It's from 3 to 5 every Saturday. And he's going to be spinning some more tracks because there's quite a few tracks from this new release that I didn't get to and that I wanted to play. So... Caminando con Papi from Pete Rodriguez is the new CD. It's on Destiny Records, I guess a little record label out of Austin. This is the first one.
Yes.
Yep.
Those cats all went to UNT.
Okay.
Mike Shields, Cameron Mizell.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the main man behind, the controls, my man George Schauder. No joke.
Okay. He was the engineer, I guess. For
he's serious, man. Trumpet player, plays tres. He has a great salsa band called Moña Loca.
Well, that might be one reason why this CD sounds so great is because the guy who engineered it and put it together is a fellow trumpet player.
Yeah,
so
he knows. Yeah,
that helps.
Yep.
All right, like you were saying earlier, it helps to have someone who's in the business of your music who truly appreciates what you're doing. So.
Yeah, those cats are great, and my publicist Kim Smith. I can't wait to meet in New York City. Love you, Kim.
All right, man. Well. We're going to just come out with this tune that we didn't get to play the whole thing of.
Which one are we going to play? You want to play El Camaleón or you want to play Caminando con Papi?
I'm rolling on it now. It's going to lead up to the hour. That's what I was letting everybody know.
That's cool.
Just a little taste of it before we lead up to the noon hour.
Okay.
But we'll hear it in its entirety tomorrow and some more tunes from this new release with Barry Gettle with the interview on between 3 and 5 sometimes. So, all right, Pete, thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, San Antonio. I can't wait to come back tomorrow, and maybe you guys will be seeing me soon here.
Yeah.
But, secret.
That's right. Absolutely. Carmen's de la Calle, the show tomorrow night with Pete. Starts at 8:30. And I understand you'll probably have some CDs, too. I'm
going to have CDs for sale, all of them. The new one, Caminando con Papi, The Alchemist, and Mind Trip. And please come out and support Carmen's. Paul is I love her pizza, man.
Yeah, man.
Pizza's no joke.
Yeah, heard the paella was still happening too.
Yeah,
so.
But the pizza's no joke.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Pizza and sangria. Thanks a lot, Pete. I'll see you tomorrow, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.